Good evening.
Everywhere I go on this island, it seems to me I find degeneracy.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. See, it's a lot scarier when there's no motive, Sid.
We have a bargain.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
Do you feel the pain? Oh, it's the pain, I can assure you, will be exquisite.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
His entire work consists of violence, all the time, obsessed with the issue of violence. Mayhem, gouging out of eyes, autopsies on the stage.
Come. It is time to keep your appointment.
Welcome, appreciators of awkwardly dubbed mothers. We are in for Double Feature Horror Show episode 138. I hope you are all well. I'm kind of thriving because I think this week, we have discovered a bit of a gem. I may be wrong. I might be over enthusiastic, but I kind of loved this week's movie. Now, who recommended it? I know we had two recommendations last week. One of them was The Attack of the Lorelei. And that is on the list to do. But who else recommended Paperhouse? Because there we go. Patrick Batman, thank you so much. This was a gem. I don't know how you found this. But oh my goodness. On the recommendations front, before we kick things off, Mr. Gently Benevolent, I have had a very special request come in. And I think it's going to put your repeated callings for Battlefield Earth to shame. There we go. The Lorelei's Grasp. Yes, we will get into that. I think I am ordering a slightly more academic book on Giallo films, which I'm hoping will touch some of the more obscure ones. And that's why I want to wait on the Lorelei, but we will cover it. So thank you very much, John Garst, for that recommendation. I'm looking forward to it. But I think it's Mr. Corris's book, La Dolce Morte, is turning out to be a bit expensive, but we will get a copy shipped over so that we can enjoy that one. Anyway, I am rambling a tad. I hope you're all well. Quite a few of you in. Not sure why we've apparently more enthusiasm for Paperhouse than I expected. Okay, folks. Well, it's not just me covering it tonight. We do not have TCG. He is, I'm afraid, busy, but is due to be back in full form very soon. So we will be wishing TCG well. I know he is fired up and ready to get back into the swing of things, but like me, is also stuck in a very busy spell at the moment. However, I am joined very welcomely by Murgoot.
Greetings all. How's everybody doing? No Uncle TCG, Mr. Gently Benevolent.
No TCG, alas. But hopefully he will be joining us back very soon. So thank you very much, Murgoot. I know this isn't an anthology. I hope you don't mind stepping in for a non-anthology film.
Oh, I don't mind at all. I'm always happy to be here.
Excellent. Well, you're extremely welcome. And I think we've got a slightly different take on this one. We'll see how it goes. This is possibly leaning into the things that I'm extremely biased about, where I will just award burgers wildly for hitting these notes, even if there are certain huge flaws in the film. So possibly you'll bring me back down to earth on this one.
Maybe.
Hopefully. On the topic front, I'm afraid, as it's been such a busy week, I have not been able to complete part 3 of A Slice of Price. Thank you for the title suggestion, guys. Much appreciated. Part 3, I have not managed to complete it, but I will share with you some of the favourite things I found from it. I try with those parts to get you to a place where you have a bit of narrative completion. I hope to get you to Vincent dealing with Roger Corman for the first time. I haven't managed to complete everything for that. I've got him doing all sorts of adventures. I found out that he owned an art gallery, and that is an absolute delight. But no, we need a little more work before I can give you the next bit of slice of Price. But I will share with you the favourite photos I found of him whilst doing the research. This is Vincent in Hudson's Bay playing Charles II. Look at him. What do you reckon, Murgoot? Can he rock that look?
Oh yeah, he rocks the 18th century look, 16th, 17th or 18th century look.
17th, I think. Yes. I mean, look at this. You wish you had this swag. Look at that. Oh. Yes, Patrick Batman. Absolutely 17th century drip. Oh, you absolutely love to see it. That's him, and I want to say it's 1942, I think. This is when he's moved into working with Fox. They got the contract with him after Universal, and I think I'm going to have to watch this because I'm going to share with you. I know we're all swooning over Vincent right now, but check out his co-star. This is Jean Tierney. Isn't she a bit fabulous?
Oh yeah, she's drop dead gorgeous. I've seen several films with her in it, and yeah, she holds her own.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I have never seen her before. I've never heard of her before, but I'm going to have to check her out. She did 4 films with Vincent Price, and then she quit acting in the mid-50s. But we've got her. She's about 20 in this, I think. She's about 20, or so. So, absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. I mean, I just love the way it's captured. It's so high definition. It looks amazing. Anyway, folks, yes, John Goris. Laura is something I've covered. I'm going to watch that this weekend because it sounds amazing. And Laura from 1944 was Vincent's favourite film of his. So I have to check that out. So you will get full price admission next week or next time. Sorry. But I just thought I would share that for you. I thought you might enjoy it, as well as a little bit of Vincent chilling out on the set of Hudson's Bay. Yeah, lovely stuff. Absolutely. I mean, the swag on that. Anyway, so that's a brief interlude before we get into tonight's coverage. I will share this. Oh, excuse me, I have a sneeze incoming. Nope, we've resisted it. There we go. So sadly, no topic. Look forward to the next slice of Price. It will be a big one, and you'll meet. There's so many. I love it. There's so many encounters with names you know. It's amazing. It's something I absolutely love about the research for the series. But I will delay no longer. We are discussing Paperhouse this week. Why are we discussing Paperhouse? Why this is really obscure, isn't it? Basically a kids' film. Well, I was hooked in. Patrick Batman knew exactly how to get me. He said this was directed by Bernard Rose. Who's Bernard Rose? Anyone who is kind of new to this channel who doesn't know me well, I would ask. Bernard Rose is the suspected homosexual and confirmed director of wonderful film Candyman, my favourite horror film of all time. The only film that we rate 12 out of 12 on this channel. I've instantly lost people saying I'm not covering Vincent Price. I was scared I would drive people off with that, I swear. It's a delight. I love the Vincent enthusiasm. Anyway, Bernard Rose is the director of Candyman, my favourite film of all time. That was 1992. But this is 1988's Paperhouse, very small scale British production. It was his third film, and before this, he had been working on, apparently. Now he had married twice. He has had 3 children. Let's get him up here. Actually, let's appreciate a little bit of. Tell you what, I'll show you this. There you go. There's a little Bernard Rose with a toy Candyman. They did consider asking him to direct the terrible Jordan Peele sequel, but then they didn't give it to him. Why give it to Bernard Rose, who made one of the best horror films of all time, for the sequel, when you could give it to a director who's only done one small feature, Nia DaCosta, who would go on to make The Marvels? Oh dear. Exactly. It's an obvious choice, isn't it? Yes. Well, he does have 3 children. So if he is a confirmed whoopsie, he's kept his marriage very lavender. But I was really thrown off because Clive Barker was so keen on him, and he'd been working with Frankie Goes to Hollywood. I mean, I just thought that was kind of a guarantee, Apparently
He
not.
Goes to Hollywood. He did their video, or
Oh yeah, he did. He did.
he did Relax, or which one did he do?
I think he did do Relax and one other one, but I cannot remember now. But I think if you're working with Frankie Goes to Hollywood, come on, and Clive Barker, come on, you can understand why. Anyway. Oh, Adam Loves Horror dropping $2. Thank you so much. Literal art house film. Yes, it is. Say Anna's name 5 times. Yes, you can do that, but I don't think she'll come back. She will not appear if you say her name 5 times, because she only starred in this one movie. One and done. Never came back. Never did any other acting again. And very sadly, the actor who played Mark, I believe, also died very shortly after this production. Yeah, quite sad.
He actually had muscular dystrophy, or
No. I don't know. I can't remember what he actually died of here. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, died far too young. Oh, I might have trouble saying this on YouTube. So he was played by Elliot Spears, and he suffered a negative reaction to an anti-malaria medication that left him gravely ill. And he never recovered, and he died in the Royal Free Hospital. That's in Hampstead. That's the same hospital where James Furman, the BBFC secretary, died in. Yeah. Sad times, special knowledge. So yeah, a little bit of a tragedy. Anyway, thank you so much for the $2, Adam Loves Horror. Much appreciated. Yeah, kind of a sad one, that. This being Rose's third film, he'd got a bit of practice behind it. He'd got a little bit more of a budget, but let's be honest, it's Britain, so not a huge amount. It's not really how we do, but working title pictures put together 1.6 million, which you can actually do a heck of a lot with in Britain, including hiring a completely unnecessary helicopter for no damn reason. And as another thing that made it, I think, has given it a bit of longevity and helped it, was the original composer is a Stanley Myers, whose results were not going down well. It's a bit of a, how can we say, kind of like the original composer of The Exorcist and William Friedkin, not going too well. I don't think Bernard Rose chucked the guy's work across the street or anything, but oh man, wait for The Exorcist commentary, guys. However, they were unhappy with Stanley Myers' work, so his younger assistant, one Hans Zimmer, steps in and says, "I can finish it." And it just produces an absolute early banger. because the music in this, it's not perfect, but there's a couple of like stings that are so 80s that they're kind of cheesy, but overall, I really loved the music in this. This worked for you, right?
Yeah, the music definitely worked for me. I mean, it set the tone for the movie.
Yeah, really, really glorious stuff. It's not even, it's 80s, but it's not too 80s for the most part. I was a big fan of it. You know something else Hans Zimmer was up to around this time?
Go ahead.
He was in a pop video, a very well-known pop song video. Does anyone know what it is? I thought I'd throw that out there because when I discovered this, I was absolutely delighted. It's probably going to come into the chat in a few seconds, but I'll drop it now. Hans Zimmer is playing the keyboard in Video Killed the Radio Star.
He was part of the Buggles.
I don't think he was part of them, but they got him in for that video. Yeah. So guys, enjoy the. I also love that you knew it was the Buggles straight away. Yes.
Hey, Video Killed the Radio Star, the first video ever played on MTV, and they played it in heavy rotation.
And why would you know? I play it in heavy rotation even now. I absolutely love that. Yes. So yeah, have fun if after this stream, obviously, but check out Video Kill the Radio Star to see a young, no, he doesn't have curly hair in the video. A young Hans Zimmer playing, I think, 2 keyboards at once, like an absolute Chad. All right. Well, we should probably get into this. I think through this, we're going to see exactly why Clive Barker wanted to work with Bernard Rose for Candyman. But I will get this up and I'll try and give you a quick plot summary. If you did not manage to see it, I can understand why you might not have wanted to take the chance. But my goodness, this is a gem. It is free on Amazon in the UK. I think there's one ad with it if you want to watch.
And it is
but it's also free on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, at least on the state side. So
absolutely free to see this and highly, highly recommended. So we're going to go full spoiler mode here. And I'll just say, obviously, I should have said it earlier, but we're on YouTube. If you want this channel growing, if you want to be reminded when we have stuff coming out, you do have to interact with the videos. Otherwise, the algorithm will decide you do not fancy it. And you could do that by leaving a comment, much appreciated, or a quick like on the video would be good to see. That tells YouTube good stuff, and it helps counteract all the people who come on these videos really, really annoyed that this isn't just a pirated movie. Because they come, they downvote, and they get very annoyed that I'm not. I mean, it's already on YouTube. My goodness. Anyway, so
Adam loves horror. You invented that abomination, the piano key necktie. I know who to blame. Never had a piano key necktie. One of my buddies did, and it looked horrible on him then. Yes, I had a black blade tie, but I did not have a keyboard tie.
Murgoot's fashion confessions continue.
But
Oh no, Adam loves horror is confirming it's a Zoolander quote. We got to get up to speed with our Zoolander. All right, folks.
I have never seen Zoolander. So.
Oh, it's an absolute gem. It's a gem. Yes. All right. See, now I'm just going to be tempted to drop Zoolander quotes throughout this review. Let's see what we can do. Okay. All right. So full-on spoilers from this point on, guys. Paperhouse is set in Britain in 1998. And you're in a London school. And we're following Anna Madden. And she is a bit of a brat. A bit of a ruffian, but she's acting out. We'll find out because her dad's away, and she's getting a bit restive. She's kicking off in class and lies to be able to go home, saying she's faint, but then she actually starts to faint. She gets off school early, and Mum picks her up. She says, "No, I was lying," and still manages to bunk off, or play truant, as non-Brits would call it. We'd say she bunked it. She goes and hangs around the train tracks, getting herself around some... I'll show you this. Getting herself around scenery that made me think, this is set telling Clive Barker that Bernard Rose knows how to shoot slightly gritty urban scenes. I don't know if you thought that when you saw the train station, Murgoot, but I thought this is like an audition for filming Cabrini Green scenes.
Well, possibly. I just treated it as punk Britain.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah.
What with the anarchy symbol and the tagging and it's all the usual trappings.
Absolutely. She is talking to her mate Karen, who is an absolute early strumpet, and was honestly, she was describing she's a bit older than Anna, and she's talking about going to a party where it sounds honestly she was passed round like a party bag of Doritos. Really quite filthy, and yet in all of this, it's actually Anna who ends up with glandular fever, and not this utter trollop, this floozy, this Stoffel. Anyway, Anna says she should play hide and seek, sort of indicating that she's a bit more childish than Karen, who is interested in higher-minded things like, getting... I'm not going to complete that joke. That would have gone to a very bad place. But in fairness, she is being a complete strumpet. She's a harlot. So Anna's saying, let's play hide and seek, indicating she is kind of still on the childish side of things. Also, hey, Devontae, good to see you, man. In fact, hi to all the regulars in the chat. I should have said hi to you all already. I'll also say hi to all the wonderful, very patient people on the rewatch, who I forget every single week, but who are, however, fab. Dr. Prepper, absolutely future town bike, basically current town bike. This girl is loose like change. But anyway, it is Anna who goes hiding, sneaks into a dark tunnel to help her hide, but then faints. Police go looking for her, discover her, bring her back, and we then get this kind of parallel thing. Throughout the film, Anna is going to be increasingly feverishly ill, and as she's getting ill, she's going into the stream world, where she will see the titular Paperhouse. She draws it awkwardly in a book, and then she meets it in her dream. This is this nice dynamic that we'll get throughout the film, where when she's exploring the house, she can create it, she can shape it on the outside and explore it, but while she's doing it, we know that she's actually in a feverish dream and getting sick. The film does not disguise this. It works with that dynamic very well. Mm-hmm. So first she's kind of thrown off as she discovers it and explores it, and then she starts to learn the rules. We start to understand the rules. She adds a little boy in the top window, where she makes him unhappy, and that boy ends up being Mark. She can't actually get to him because he tells her, there are no stairs. And so she then draws stairs and gets up to him. She also then finds out that, excuse me. I was trying to see if I do have an image of Mark, but it's only from the end, so I'll leave it. This was an absolute nightmare to try and get screen caps from, because I was watching on Amazon and you can't screen cap that. Very infuriating. Anyway, so Mark is in there, but he doesn't have legs. Sorry, he does have legs, but they don't work. We find this out, and she's annoyed about. She's basically thinking that she's done it because she drew him sad, and she tries to draw him then walking around and going up, but it doesn't work. And
The exploding mannequin legs.
yeah, I mean, there's some interesting stuff in that. The fact that there was just a pair of legs not attached to him, like almost like she kind of hit. She kind of got a system error in trying to hack the system. One of the things that is causing her a lot of strife and causing to act out, as we said, is that her dad's not around. Her mother's trying to cope. Her mother is also seems to develop photography. Whether that's a job or just a hobby, I'm not quite sure, but it's something she does. It's got some symbolic significance there. She's visited by a doctor who very distractingly she just calls Sarah the whole time, which really annoyed me. But Anna is, I guess, not particularly formal. And in discussing things with Sarah, she finds out that the Sarah is also Mark's doctor. Somehow they're sharing the psychic space. It's really like that. Do you remember that episode of The Twilight Zone from the 80s we watched with a young Tom Paris?
Yep, the one where he's sharing dreams with a 17th century girl.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one indeed. Yeah, I was really reminded of that. Anyway, so she finds out they've got this real life connection as well as this dream connection. Because her dad's not around, she draws him in. But when she draws him in, it goes a bit wrong. She gets a bit freaked out by what she's done, and she starts trying to scribble it out. She ends up blinding the figure who's her father. She ends up leaving these scrawls on the window of the house. She can affect it, but she can't affect it as much as she wanted to. Adam Horror, did Anna call her mother a rather harsh epithet? No, I don't believe she did. Murgoot, did I miss something? I don't think she dropped any
If
C
she
bombs.
did, I missed it too.
I mean, it's one of those weird films where it's rated PG-13 in America. We've got it as a 15 because it. I mean, I don't know how it actually. I mean, it feels like a 12 to me at most.
I think it was the two washing up scenes that did it, but
Oh, like the bath. Yeah, possibly. There's, how can I say, it's the 80s and they didn't worry as much about it, but I suppose there is basically child nudity in this in an entirely non-sexual context. But anyway, so having drawn stairs and drawn all sorts of entertainment, she gets in, she can then actually talk to Mark. Mark is very sad. Mark's legs do not work. And we found out this is because he's got muscular dystrophy. So she tries to keep him company, keep him entertained. But she's also created this sort of looming threat of the angry father figure, who is going to be the main source of horror in this.
yeah, she draws in entertaining things, books. He'd earlier told her about a friend of his who was sick and couldn't ride his blue bicycle, so she draws that in.
Yeah.
I'll let you go from there.
No worries. Yeah. There's kind of fun hijinks in the light section, but she keeps getting pulled out. Next time, you get this genuinely scary bit when the evil father figure appears. Mark knows something is wrong, and he starts approaching the house. He turns up as this awful silhouette in the distance, just saying he's blind. He's mostly just this horrible shadow. We do get a couple of close-ups of him where you see his eyes have been scribbled out. It's really kind of Event Horizon to me. I don't know if you got those vibes, but crikey, all I could only think about Event Horizon.
Well, with the makeup, since I knew he'd worked with Clive Barker, it was more Nightbreed than Event Horizon. One of the.
I mean, we're talking Clive Barker here. Are we going to overlook that? I mean, crikey, the Hellraiser connections are so weird in this. If that's making no sense to people, so Hellraiser is Clive Barker's directorial debut. He had written it as well. He had done that, I want to say, 1 year prior. I believe it's 1987. And in that, just like in this, you've got a lot of sort of, I want to say like semi-Freudian ideas about the father and the father's imposing sexuality. You've got murder with a hammer coming in, and the dad in this turns up with a hammer. There's that famous line as Andrew Robinson kind of drawls out seductively, "Come to daddy." And there are lines like this delivered by Ben Cross here that have that same vibe to it. Now, it's a children's film, so it's obviously a lot less explicit, but it feels like it's trading in a lot of those ideas, and I swear it is seeing that and those crossovers that made Clive Barker ring Bernard Rose up and say, "Dude, I've got a film I want you for." The father's concerns are a little more interesting, a little more complex. What he says is, what is it? Do you remember how I look? Can you recognize me? Yeah.
Stating back to the fact that he's on the road all the time for work, and when he wasn't, he was a bit of an alcoholic.
That's right, yes. There's an very interesting bit that it's dropped in that the mum is trying to protect her a bit, but yeah, the dad has been a drunk, and she knows when he's drunk, and she's scared of him when he's drunk. Now, pretty much after he arrives, there is an amazing bit where he just gets in the window. He smashes his way through the window. They're planning to escape. She's getting Mark onto the bike so that she will be able to push them away. The dad breaks in through the window. I absolutely jumped. That scared the heck out of me. I was not prepared for that. Genuinely good scare. He busts through. He comes and smashes up the bike, and she wakes up.
The smashing of the bike is one of the things that affected me, just because it took away Mark's dreams. I sympathized more with Mark than I did with Anna.
Yeah, she kind of plays havoc with him. Although the relation to the real life Mark is kind of interesting, and we'll hopefully unpick that. She's a sort of, she had previously rejected it. She had crumpled the drawing up and thrown it away. I might be getting the timelines a bit mixed up here, but she knows she needs to get back. And part of the problem is she's thrown the drawing away. The mother then throws it away. There's a bit of a fun race where she realizes she needs to get up again and get the drawing.
From the bin men of all people.
There we go. There's a really, really nice shot when she's going down in the elevator and her mum's running down the stairs after her. I loved it. It looked so good. It's a little silly, that the bin men cooperate with her and help her leaf through the trash. And then they leave and just leave a whole load of rubbish dumped on the floor.
Well, my favorite was, what color was the bag? Black. Black bag, she says, as they lift up a bunch of black bags.
Yeah, and the guy who looks like Mark Addy is just saying like, guys, any of you seen anything like that around here? Loved it. Yeah. I liked it. I liked it a lot. A fun thing about the scene where the the pseudo father figure breaks in, the director did not warn them about it. They did not know that was going to happen. So it was genuine surprise. They're looking away when the actor just comes in. So, and that really freaked out the young actress for Anna. She was not warned, and I think kind of kudos. That's again a bit of a William Friedkin move, if you will. Patrick Batman, thank you so much for £5. The dad on the hill saying nothing reminded me of Tony Soprano's nightmare from the episode Calling All Cars. I don't know The Sopranos that well. I have seen it all, but it was many years ago. But I'd be interested. How did you come across this, by the way, Patrick? Was it just following Candyman research? I'd be very interested. I know it got some latter day Blu-ray release, but I'm amazed people found this.
I'd never heard of it before.
No, I hadn't either, and I think it's an absolute gem, absolutely overlooked gem. So, cutting it short, they get hold of the drawing again. She's able to then get back in, try and make some amendments, and thank you, Mr. Sissum in the chat. I'm glad you're enjoying this. Yes, please do. Don't let us spoil it. Watch it free on YouTube, free on BitChute, free on Amazon Prime. You get in there and enjoy it, and I hope you will come back and enjoy the rest of the stream. So, an awesome username. So there's that wonderful tension.
Found it on a list of obscure horror on a random website.
Well, it was a very good find. Very good find, I'm going to say. So yes, we have some excellent tension. We understand the rules of this world. She has to get back in. She manages to get the drawing. She comes back in and she goes to a house that is now empty. It's all been changed around. She has to creep around. Mark's not there to be found. She goes into a dark room full of cameras and sorry, not cameras, candles. It looks very, very odd there. Very odd.
It reminded me of the police's wrapped around your finger.
Oh, like a music video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he's dancing through a room full of lit candles.
Oh, interesting. Hang on, I swap to this one. Yeah, I love that they were doing that nerd thing of, oh, it's a very basic computer model. It's like, no, it's like the Jurassic Park hacker kids thing. We'll never get away from that trope, will we, Murgoot? They love it. They love the hacker kid.
Oh boy, yeah.
Bless. Oh, hello, Checker222. Good to see you. I'm glad you're liking it. Also, hi, Brundlefly. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, man. Anyway, so this room with all the candles, I really wish I had an image of it. I mean, this is a film going very spooky at this point. She's looking around. You just don't know what's happened since she last was forced out of the dream. But suddenly, there's a slam. Almost all the candles go out. The father sort of stands up and starts coming for her, but as obviously is blind, is looking for her. He starts counting down. It's very sort of like childhood game. It's hide and seek again, basically doing the countdown, just like Karen did at the start. I think they really wanted all the candles to blow out, and they just couldn't get it to happen. Which is, it's kind of a shame, but what are you going to do? They did their best. They got most of the candles, but I think obviously they wanted them all. and they just couldn't do it on this budget. But it still looks nice. The father hunting her through the house is genuinely creepy. When she's in there, she's getting reminded of him. I think it is in this bit, because she's comparing the image of what she's seen to a photograph that she took earlier that she discussed with her mother.
Yeah.
And she says she wants it left dark, which I think is very, very interesting, given that the father is mostly in silhouette. This is the real life affecting the dream world. Is this film better than The Matrix? Heck yes. All those ideas done so much better. Anyway, it's also the one where she says she can tell her dad was drunk in it. And as she's remembering, thinking of it, she remembers being there taking it. And she sees her dad as he was in real life. And that is when they drop the most brutal jump scare as her father suddenly lunges towards her. And that's when the sort of dream, dark nightmare father comes up. I believe that's when the dark nightmare father comes up. Am I remembering that right, Murgoot?
Yes.
Yeah. That jump scare knocked my socks off. Like, I was not prepared for that at all. Incredibly effective. I mean, did it hit you as well?
I expected it just because of the tone of the music. I mean, it's an 80s film.
Oh, sorry.
He did better with that. It was more original, but I was kind of expecting it to happen, or something to happen, not what actually did happen.
I was lulled into a false sense of security, unfortunately. I was also dragged out a tiny bit when we got the extremely 80s guitar chord as the evil dad came into play. Anyway, she runs away from him. She's trying to find somewhere in the house. He's going downstairs, counting down, just like hide and seek, just like in the beginning. She finds a door where she can go in, and Mark is there hiding. And he's basically saying that she's dragged him into this. She's got him into trouble. She's got to think of it. And then he comes up with the idea that she can, from the dream, impact the real world. She can lie down as she would be in the bed, and then do actions in the dream world that will be carried out in the real life world. And the idea is to get her to grab the piece of paper, the drawing that is creating this whole world, tear the father out of it, because she wasn't able to erase him. I should have said that earlier. I thought she was going to pass it over the candle, or like her hand was going to touch the candle flame next to her bed and wake her up.
Burn it all down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I half expected that, but that was one of the more effective parts of the movie for me. Just the tear him out of here to save it. Yeah.
Oof. We still have good scares. He busts in there in very sort of a very violent action, very high energy. Adam Loves Horror is thinking the same thing we were thinking. He drags Mark. He's flinging Mark around. He's dragging her out. When she's torn the drawing, it ends up sort of rendering the house, knocking him back. But he's still going. He drags her outside. Mark has a somewhat convoluted journey to get outside, I'll just say, to try and rescue her. He's blocked. He has to overcome it. We won't go hugely into the details because I think he probably should have been quite hurt falling out the window. But we will skip over that. The father drags her up the hill, and then, utterly at his mercy, he starts pounding on her chest. It's an awkward one. Like, I got what was happening, but it didn't. That bit didn't quite work for me. And when I say get what was happening, sorry, Murgoot, go ahead.
It worked for me, but I figured out pretty quickly that they were performing CPR on her.
Exactly. Yes. I think you can work that out quite quickly from the knowledge of how the real world and the dream world are interplaying, and that he doesn't look like he's actually trying to kill her. You can work that out, but then in a scene that would cause Harry and a former co-host here to absolutely flip his lid, Mark, who is on the floor, manages to pick up the father figure's hammer and hit the father in the head, who is considerably higher than him. The father is knocked around, falls close to the flaming rift that has come up where Anna has torn the paper, and catches fire, screaming, "I hate you, I hate you, you turned her against me." No, sorry, I'm getting that confused with another film. Oh, come on, you thought it. Who knew? Mark had the higher ground. Anyway, the father figure disappears, and Anna wakes up. And yes, as we had worked out, she's been given CPR. She is in hospital, and yes, the banging on the chest. Chat is sighing. But what stream do you think you are? You think I'm going to resist a terrible pun, terrible reference like that? Come on, guys. Mima, you know me. Yes, her fever got ever worse. Just as things were intensifying with the battle in the dream world, her battle to stay alive in the real world was intensifying as well. And doctors had to rescue her, intubate her, give her CPR. And she's overcome that. So just as she's overcome the battle with the father, she has overcome the battle with the fever. She is slowly getting better. Her father now comes back. He is there and tells her, he's going to be able to be around now.
He got promoted to the home office. He won't have to travel.
Indeed. Yes. The film then slows down considerably. We find out that the real life Mark is not in the hospital where Anna is, because his muscular dystrophy is getting worse. He's basically been sent home to be comfortable. Things are not looking good. And through demonstrating knowledge that she shouldn't possibly have, she convinces a GP to bring her drawing so that she can create additional things in the dream world for Mark. She does this, and then we see them get to hang out together in a dream world, which now has a fun lighthouse. I realise I'm taking absolutely ages with this, but I think some people won't have seen the movie, so I'm trying to get a few more of the details in. They hang out. It's kind of nice, and then in a move that I really hated, but is possibly necessary. I don't know. We can discuss this. You get the kind of move out of childhood into adolescence as she shares a kiss with Mark. Quite an unnecessarily lengthy kiss. Far more than I wanted to see, to be honest. It made me a little uncomfortable. but very much a sort of end of childhood innocence symbol.
Yeah. That one just kind of water off a duck's back. I was like, oh, okay, obligatory kiss.
Yeah. I mean, she's 12, and it's anyway. I mean, I'm seeing that chat was not hugely necessary. Oh, also, hey, Jesus for Christ, good to see you, man. I'm seeing chat was not a fan of it. The fact that they also call it snogging doesn't help. You know, I know it's a British term, but it's not a pleasant one. Anyway.
Oh, Adam, I just read your pun. More cowbell. Oh.
Oh dear. Excellent. Yes, and this is where the end of the film drags out longer than my summary of it. We have an extended
You got the
bit.
part where he had her draw a helicopter at the lighthouse.
Yeah, she gives him paper and a pen so that he can customize a world himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he says he wants to draw a helicopter, as you say. The top of the lighthouse is meant to be the cool place. But in the real world, the father says, look, they're going to go on holiday. And I start to think like, oh, come on, film. Come on, you're meant to be over now. Bloody hell, film. Why are you still going? The film keeps going a fair bit longer. They're then on holiday, and then she looks out the window. You know, she's trying to heal the rift with... Oh, sorry, she's trying to heal the rift with her father. Her father mentions that the real life Mark died. It's actually kind of poignant.
Mm-hmm.
And then on holiday, she looks out the window and sees the real life lighthouse that she drew, and it's there. So she thinks, oh, Mark must be there. And so she runs out to that, and she finds the sheet of paper written on by him saying that he's gone off on a helicopter. I was like, oh, okay. I thought this movie was dragging a bit, but okay. But yeah, okay, that's kind of a sweet ending where you have things a bit ambiguous. Okay. And then it kept going, because then an actual helicopter arrived, and then she was screaming up at it, Mark, and he's really there talking down to her, and then she was on the edge of the cliff trying to get up the ladder to join him, and I thought we're going to suddenly go extremely Bridge to Terabithia, go extremely dark suddenly. And I was like, okay, a bit unnecessary, fine, but then she didn't fall off the cliff because her mum saved her.
Comes and recovers her, yeah.
Yep, and the helicopter goes away. And that was the end of the film. I know it dragged out a bit at the end there, but my goodness, the film drags out.
Yeah, it started really slow and ended really slow.
Yeah, there's a lot of really sweet poignancy in the thing with Mark where he's died in real life, but she's given this dream version of him somewhere to be really happy.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty sweet, but then the extra thing with the helicopter, absolutely. I took off a whole burger for that section, I'll be honest, and I took half a burger off my score for the kiss.
Yeah, the slowness at the beginning and slowness at the end took off a couple burgers for me. It's a nice little bittersweet fairy tale, complete with Brothers Grimm, father is the ogre type thing. It felt quaint. It felt homely.
True.
Would say.
But like a lot of Brothers Grimm, there's quite a lot of layers to it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so things we can. I mean, maybe let's just deal with the ending since we're on it. Murgoot, I would propose to you an ending in hospital where the doctor still tells her Mark has actually died. And so right then and there, she draws the extra things in the lighthouse, and then sort of says goodbye and wraps up the paper, and sort of puts it away. And then we just sort of close with her having a conversation with her parents. We drift out the window and then fade into a view on the lighthouse, and just like a little silhouette of Mark inside there walking around. And we fade out there about 72 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. It's one of those that I almost wish you would have drawn Mark in the helicopter at that point, just smiling as it floats away and then fade to black.
Heading for the Pentagon. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been... What? Yeah, I thought the helicopter was honestly some kind of almost a sly joke about the budget, about obviously we don't have the money for a helicopter. And they actually did have a helicopter. So like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm going to be honest. I think, her dad was back. That was kind of everything we needed.
Yeah. And her parents are making up, and her father is being honest about what's going on, and I haven't been there for you, and I got my promotion to the home office so I don't have to travel, and we're working on our problems and things will get better as she's coming out of her fever dream. Yeah. The fact that the dad had to stick around and have an awkward convo with her, I mean, I kind of liked it because it wasn't just dad's back, everything's okay. It showed that there was work needed to be done. Yeah.
It was just a painfully long ending. People are... Would you have minded if it had ended like that sort of 14 minutes earlier?
They could have cut 20 minutes to a half an hour easily. It's some of the stuff in the beginning, and then, my God, the end.
Yeah, fair enough. People are already talking about the sort of one of the deeper aspects of this, which is that, like many a fairy tale, this is about leaving. This is about leaving childhood. The fact that you go from the comfort through a tough journey and then you return. In this case, not fully an adult, but she is going into the awkward, slightly dangerous realm of, adolescence. The sexuality is there on her radar, but it's kind of a threat, right? So people are talking about that, like Dr. Prepper has picked up on it. Karen's a bad influence, absolutely. Karen is there basically saying, look, hey, your friend group, they're already into it. They're already into this world of sexuality and frankly, absolute thottery. Like, honestly, the state of Karen. But anyway, and it's kind of there for her, but she runs away from it, if you notice. The fact that she's kind of retreats into a tunnel is...
retreats into a tunnel and then retreats into an isolated house in her dream.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you really want to push it, the fact that she hides in a tunnel but ultimately ends up drawing a massive lighthouse... If you want to go there, you can. I'm not going to do that.
I think you already did.
Look. All right, look, Murgoot, if we are doing this, I will point out that if you read Freud's Das Unheimlich, the uncanny, one of the pivotal understandings of horror, one thing he points out is that a key symbol for castration is blinding.
Did not realize that one. But yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, you do not have to agree with Freud. You do not even have to interpret Freud correctly. Oddly enough, is something I argue. I think you kind of frequently have to understand what the pop understanding of Freud is. And I think possibly the blinding equals castration is maybe not particularly well understood versus like id, ego, super ego, because that shows up all over the place. But in this, yeah, you can say the father figure is there. The father is this absence who's made present but made nightmarish. The fact that he does not see her and does not recognize her is very relevant to like classic nightmare construction. The fact that just as in Hellraiser, the father is kind of this initial, I mean, this is very Freudian, but the father is like that initial sexual object for the daughter.
No.
But made terrifying. So this is exactly what happens in Hellraiser, and it kind of happens here. You note that, Mark is there as an interesting boy, but he's paralyzed below the waist. So he's kind of like not a threat in that. I really hate doing this. I'm so uncomfortable doing this reading. But Mark has been made very safe, which is kind of why it gets... Yes, exactly, Patrick Batman. The come to daddy bit is weird as hell.
Yeah.
The fact that when she tries to draw him, she ends up with just this isolated pair of legs on the stairs.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, that is symbolism we can go into deeply. The fact it's just legs, they're on the stairs are implying like something you have to ascend. It's a progress you're going to go up, being like, if you start with this, you are going to go all the way up to adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
You can read that in that imagery, but the fact that she can't handle it, which is why the legs explode, it's like she isn't ready for that.
Yeah,
I've talked for ages and I've gone into quite weird Freudian symbolism here, so maybe rescue me, Murgoot.
But you're right in a lot of ways. It is the transition from prepubescence to adolescence, discovering things in her own mind and trying to move forward and yet stay back and stay a child with all of her willfulness and her brattiness and not reacting well to the absence of her father and a little bit of an overbearing mother, or it seems to her overbearing mother. The mother seems perfectly normal to me.
What, even though she was dubbed terribly?
Oh, she was dubbed?
Oh, yeah. If we're talking Hellraiser connections, how about the awkward dubbing? She was just like in Hellraiser with Uncle Frank. The mother was originally told to play it with her American accent, which is to sort of, I think, help her feel a bit more out of place. But then she was told, no, we need to redub it in English.
Yeah, American and English, two separate languages.
It's just, like I say, the weird Hellraiser connections are all over the place, including this very awkward dubbing of a character, an actor who'd done absolutely nothing wrong, but they changed the production decision, Oh dear. Yeah.
I didn't notice that. Consider me unobservant, but I just let it flow.
Yeah. By the way, I think I passed over something, so big apologies there. Adam Loves Horror. Thank you for $2 again. Draw me like one of your French girls in Titanic. Yes. Oh, and I believe we have just lost Murgoot. Possibly Murgoot has had all the Freudian talk that he can take. The poor lad. I don't blame him. I don't like doing the Freud stuff as well. It's the other thing is I often, as I said, you're doing pop understandings of Freud. Very few people want to engage with the actual Freud stuff. But thank you very much, Adamless Horror, for that. Yeah. I think we should have known that with this film we're going to get a "Draw Me Like Your French Girls" reference. Very much needed. So let's continue. I think I would like to say let's maybe. I don't want to delve fully into the Freudian readings. I'll just get Murgoot back. Hey, Murgoot. Long time no see.
Streamlabs.
It'll do that to you. It'll do that to you.
Streamlabs said camera and microphone not working, and then dropped me out of the studio completely.
It happened. There was a period where I was getting booted constantly from my own streams. Terrible. Very awkward. I think it was a Psycho stream, if you remember, but never mind.
Yeah, I could hear you fine, and then it came up.
Oh, dear.
Camera and microphone are not working. Try again. Bleep. Oh.
Oh, dear. I was going to suggest maybe we don't go full Freudian with it, but so let's maybe not take the dad as there's like the sign of as kind of upcoming, slightly unnerving sexuality. Let's maybe drop that. That's a bit too Freudian for us. We don't want that. But maybe we can
take it the direction of he's an absentee father.
Yeah.
And he's a bit of a drunk, and she can't trust him, and he's rather scary.
Yeah.
I mean, take the literal. It's the fears of an 11-year-old girl or 12-year-old girl that are well grounded in reality, not in the airy fairy psychosexual of Freud.
Yeah, I like that. I want to say grounded. He's blinded because when you like literally blind drunk is an expression we have. Do you say that as well?
Yes.
Okay, good. I thought blind drunk, as well as it being like a good horror. It's good horror imagery that she's tried. She can't erase him, but she scribbles him out, and all she does is scar him horribly so he looks like one of the bringers from Buffy season 7. And yes, that one episode in Buffy season 3. You think you can nitpick me, guys? You think you can get me on Buffy trivia? Nice try. You ain't ready. Anyway, so he's getting blind drunk. He comes into the house, smashes his way through the window, and smashes up the bike. I just see her as processing things that actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is probably working away because he was drinking to handle a stressful job, causing chaos, probably smashed her stuff up. And
like that, or she was afraid he was going to smash it up.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it might have just been her fear. Like maybe if he wasn't getting angry, maybe he was just extremely clumsy. Yeah. Maybe she's hearing him come home stumbling, smashing stuff, just because he was so drunk. As we say, blind drunk.
I think Dr. Prepper hit it on the nose. She also acts less bratty, immature after her father re-enters the picture toward the end of the movie, and the grounded reality of a flawed father replaces the distorted, nightmarish version. Very good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, what does the nightmare father say? He says, "Will you recognize me? Do you see me?" Which is the idea, like he's gone away so long that he doesn't recognize her. So she's just
recognize him either.
Yeah, she has displaced it. Really, she has displaced that because he's gone away. She is. How can I say? She sees him in this more realistic term. Her mother tries to hide some stuff from her. You know, she tries to downplay the drunkenness. She doesn't give she's constantly hiding details from Anna. You know, the when's he coming back? Soon. The mum is hiding stuff from her, and she's very aware of that, which just makes her more tense, makes her imagine things as much worse than they are. But that's why, yeah, the father does become just this sort of monster destructive force. Versus when she actually gets to see him, he's grounded, I mean, I felt the father is actually extremely complex. We know he's had some faults, but he's responded to them. His absence has caused chaos, and he comes back and actually starts working to improve things. I love that.
Yeah, that's part of what makes it so sweet, the bitterness of the dreams and the failing relationship, and then the death of Mark. And to a point, the uneasiness that the doctor shows and the impatience and trying to get away from Anna.
Yeah. Dr. Prepper saying kind of a based profile father movie, honestly. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely it is. Can you imagine that? It's like it's not doing down anyone. It's like the mum's trying her best, but you know, realistically, the daughter's, you know, wants that stability, and she's feeling it. No one is being, well, someone is being portrayed as absolutely evil, but the actual father is portrayed quite fairly. It's a lot like I was going to apply the same reading that I did to The Exorcist. Actually, it's like The Exorcist is a film very much about this. Very much like the absence of a father causes a huge amount of chaos, and you need that authority back in to right things. But again, you can listen to my commentary for The Exorcist when that comes out to hear all about that. And also a very pleasant to see Poe's Law in the chat. Hello, Poe, indeed. Oh, right. Interesting. The 2008. I think that has an interesting director, that film you're mentioning. I want to say that was one of the...
with Kiefer Sutherland?
I think it would be. I want to say that's Alejandro Ayar, the guy who... Oh, what did he do? It was... I think it's The Hills Have Eyes, the remake of that, which was really good.
Mm-hmm.
But, yes... Thanks, Poe. Well, I'll look forward to that. And I hope
I'm thinking of Mirrors is a fun film.
It took some odd directions, but you know what? They weren't typical ones. So I was never bored. It also had kind of a cool premise, but yeah. I hope you and the entire family, Poe, are doing well. So, yes, we've talked about the sexuality aspect, the sort of scariness, the processing of that slight threat through the childhood dream. The idea that it's kind of a dream house being put away as well. The kind of imaginary friend being put away is kind of nice. We dealt with the family stuff. Was there another aspect that you wanted to cover with this?
It's... you stating the imaginary friend, and for some reason the imaginary friend turns out to be real, and the fact that he's unwell and possibly dying, and she's taking it upon herself to try and fix him, and thinks she's just making it work.
We will never find out what she was trying to do. You know what makes it worse, guys? StreamYard kicking your host. Can we have an F in the chat for Murgoot? Once again, unfairly yeeted from this stream. Oh no. Oh, he's doing his best, guys. What do you reckon he was going to say? Where were you going to go from there? We'll find out. I'll pop one in as well. Oh dear. We were doing so well with that. I'm just here hanging around in suspense. Should have some more Vincent Price. I'm waiting for him to come back. I feel weird continuing on. The idea of... I don't want to just put Mark as an imaginary friend, because we're obviously in this weird Twilight Zone realm where they do actually interact, but it's just in this less defined way that I found fascinating. Yes, indeed. How about those Mets? I don't know if we're going to get him back. Oh dear. I'm going to put up a slightly chunky Bernard Rose while we keep going and wait for Murgoot's return. You know, he's still working. He's fascinated me. I found out that I thought he'd gone a bit quiet, but he's still working on the scene. He got out a 2015 modernized version of Frankenstein, and he had a movie come out last year. Yeah. Fascinating stuff. Will we check those out? I don't know. He kind of went into doing more high drama, high class stuff after this for a while, but interesting that he came back to do some horror. I was actually reading a Reddit AMA, forgive me chat, this was research with him, where he was promoting the Frankenstein from 2015. Here we are, Murgoot. Don't worry, I think we got away with it.
I love StreamYards.
I know. I think you were talking about Mark as an imaginary friend.
Mark is
Shall
an
we try again?
imaginary friend, and realizing that said imaginary friend is real and that other children have hard problems beyond her, and the realization that she can try and help him, or at least look after him.
Yeah. It's in a lovely... It doesn't try and over define itself. I think I was saying it's in this lovely Twilight Zone era where it doesn't have to nail it down, but the emotions are there, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And it is nice that she goes from this sort of fairly selfish take. She goes from... In fact, she's really quite egocentric at the start. Do you remember when she sees him without the legs and she's just like, oh yeah, I drew you without legs? And he's a bit more harsh. No, they just don't work, you know. You might say she sort of develops more of a sort of theory of self, theory of others.
Yeah.
As she, because this is about her maturing.
Preteen to teen.
Mm.
It's realizing that other people have problems, that other people are... It's not just revolving around her, like you said. It's the egocentric. And she does a lot of growth in the time that she's in her fever dreams.
Hugely. The way she, how can I say, the way she sort of tries to set up a sort of a post-life sanctuary for him. I'm going to be non-specific, and let's stay non-specific on this one, just so we don't spoil anything. But I was reminded very much of a film I absolutely love, a horror film, Al Orfanato. If you haven't seen it, I will drop no spoilers, but that one is a beauty. Another horror film
Del Toro?
He produced it, I think. I don't think he directed it, but he produced it.
Yeah,
but that's incredible. Very much like this in terms of a horror with some good scares, but also a heck of a lot of heart. I was also quite impressed with the maybe it's a bit obvious, but the metaphor of the helicopter is basically the way to heaven, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't have to tie themselves up in any denominational things, but it's like, here's the thing to take you into the sky. It's like, oh, I see what you're doing there.
Takes you away from all your earthly problems.
Did this remind you of any other movies?
You would ask me that. It reminds me of well, we went over it before, the coming of age story, and
Mhm.
it's not a match, but Old Yeller, where at the end, spoilers for a 60-year-old movie, where his dog gets sick and he ends up with rabies and ends up having to kill him. Just the coming of age story. A lot of films do it. This one actually did it fairly well. It's not too in your face, bit drawn out, but not in your face. It's not blatant.
Yeah. I think we'd thrown in Coraline,
Mhm.
and I get a very strong Neil Gaiman vibe from this. Like, it made me think of very much of Neverwhere. Made me think of Mirror Mask.
Yeah.
Just, I loved all of those, and that was just here in spades.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the title of it. Looking it up now.
No worries. We have a nomination for Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Well, yeah, very much. I mean, that is one where, well, particularly Freddy goes back into the world, and somewhat. I mean, he comes into the world a fair few times, but in that one, it's very noticeable. Yeah, Bridge to Terabithia, absolutely.
Yeah, some of Clive Barker's children's books, like Arabat. And,
Hang on, what? He wrote children's books?
Yeah, The Thief
What?
of Always, Arabat. It's Arabat's a whole series of them. I've only read Arabat and The Thief of Always, but I know they're out there. They're similar. They're more horror than Coraline is, but they are young adult horror fiction. There's something you might pick up.
Nice. There was discussion over whether this should be classed as a horror or not, or whether it's like, I saw it as like a dark, a young dark fantasy.
Oh, it's akin to Brothers Grimm, actually closer to Hans Christian Andersen in tone.
Oh, massively.
It's a modern fairy tale.
A bit like Dolls, which again we had recommended and absolutely, were very impressed by. I really enjoyed Dolls.
That was a fun one. That really was.
You know what I liked most about it, Murgoot? It didn't end 14 minutes after it should have. That film was a sweet 78 minutes.
Yeah,
and then it said, good night, folks. And then signed off. It was great. They had a scene of people arriving at the end. They didn't even stop the credits for it. I say it somewhat facetiously, but it was more just like, oh man, the story was. It sort of pulled me back in when she got to the lighthouse and found his drawing. That was.
Yeah, that was sweet.
I was asking for this one, wasn't I? Absolutely, Dollface, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there are genuine horrific elements. I have no problem calling this a horror. But, it is one you could show your kids,
Yeah. It's not the darkest of fairy tales, but it is dark enough
Mhm.
to be considered that. It's
Absolutely. And
so,
we should also talk about, like, this had lovely production design.
oh yeah, the palettes and the design of the paper house itself. It looked chintzy, but it was meant to look chintzy. It
Mm,
was paper. It was out of her dreams and out of her drawings, a
yeah,
child's drawings,
it
and
looks
it
so
looked
roughly put
quite
together.
effective.
Mm. When she draws the things, like, that obviously the scale is all wrong. So they
Mhm.
have the wrong scale in the paper house. I absolutely love that.
The extra large Coke bottle was fun.
Yep.
The extra large glasses, the haphazard, all the
Mhm.
books stuck together.
Did you notice they had absolutely nonsense titles?
I was watching on my laptop, so I didn't catch the titles, but I'm not surprised.
Oh, it was great. It was kind of one of them was like, was it Fur something, or Fuzz something? Yeah, but the titles were just obviously they were random nonsense because she hadn't thought about that. So she'd just drawn a whole stack of books, like, whatever books. So yeah, go and have a look at that. It's hang on, I think we've got the best comparison here. Dr. Prepper, Labyrinth. Labyrinth. Huh?
I can hear the songs now.
Absolutely. Labyrinth and Pan's Labyrinth. Absolutely
Yeah.
stellar comparisons for this.
I like Adam Loves Horror's comment above that, the Tales from the Hood episode where the young boy draws the bad father.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's apt too. It's a good
very,
comparison.
very good point of comparison here. Oh, I really enjoy Tales from the Hood.
Yeah, it held up. It's held up quite well.
Heck yeah. I mean, they invested in making that look good, and it looks darn good. I mean, this we should point out, like, great design, great music, as we said. I think decent direction,
Hmm.
wasn't overplayed, kind of underplayed things, which kept it quite nicely grounded. But that may have been budget enforced on poor Bernard Rose. But one of the things that I think does let it down is that all we've got here is, like, obviously not any kind of remaster. I don't think they've done a new print for this, which is why even on Amazon, where it's up in like 1080p, it's clearly just sort of blown up.
Yeah, I was
What's it?
just looking at the notes. Based on the 1958 novel Marianne Dreams by Catherine Storr.
Mm,
That might be something I have to look up.
yeah, it might be worth it. I was going to mention it was. It's not an original. It is based on something. Yeah, and I think I would also meant to mention that our lead actress here had done this. It was her first role. It's her only role. And she called up the director years later, and she had spoken to Bernard Rose, and he had said, how come you didn't do any more acting? She was like, oh, I had a really great time on that. I didn't want to, I felt I'd done it all, to be honest. Yeah. Just like Jake Lloyd.
Well,
One
she
feature
enjoyed
now.
it. He got chased out, basically, from all the hate.
How about Danny Lloyd? Huh?
Danny Lloyd.
He only did the one film as well.
What film was that?
Oh, The Shining.
Oh, duh.
That's all right. Don't worry.
Uh,
It's just me. I know that film far too well from doing the commentary for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, John Goris. One and done. One and done. Oh, we've been fact checked. Apologies. Yes, Jake Lloyd did Jingle All the Way as well. Yes, I don't think he went full. What was his name? Jonathan Lipnicki. Who they just sort of pushed through about 7 films in 1 year. There was another kid as well in, what was it, 2006? 2003. Cameron Bright, who was in X-Men Last Stand, the third one. He was in Ultraviolet, and I want to say he was in Thank You for Smoking as well, all in the same year. I could be wrong.
Ultraviolet. That's a movie title to conjure to.
I know what you look. Who's the director of that? Was it Kurt Wimmer?
Let me look it up.
But yeah, the guy who did that really great film with Equilibrium. And they're like, what do you... He did so well with that they just say, what do you want to do? And he says, you know what, I want to make some absolute schlock. Get me something that Paul W.S. Anderson would be too ashamed to make. But
Kurt Wimmer.
Yay.
They just wanted to see Mila Jovovich prance around on screen again.
Who doesn't? It really does feel like a Resident Evil sequel got lost. But yeah. And where is it? I'm just highlighting this because I massively agree with it. Adam Loves Horror. Thank You for Smoking is underrated. It is. I absolutely adore that movie.
I haven't seen it, so I'll have to look that one up too.
Really good satirical comedy. I want to say it's A. Reitman. I think Jason Reitman. I could be wrong. But yeah, great one. A dark comedy about an ad exec played by Aaron Eckhart. Really good stuff. Nice little role for J.K. Simmons in as well. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Patrick Batman asking, have I ever seen the BBC horror series Ultraviolet? No, I've never heard of that. Murgoot, have you heard of Ultraviolet?
I'm
looking for it now.
I think I've seen a couple of episodes and then it just faded off the radar.
1998. Oh, hey. This had Idris Elba in it. And Jack Davenport. My goodness, there is I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to derail this, guys. But Jack Davenport has turned into Peter Hitchens. Look at that. He's becoming Peter Hitchens. He's metamorphosing in. Look at him. That's amazing. Sorry, you can tell I'm going off the rails a bit here, folks. Right, sorry. Ultraviolet. Okay, so it's interesting. No, I have not heard of this ever, but classic Britain. Murgoot, you're gonna know this. Murgoot. It's a British series. How many seasons did we make?
Either 1 or 3, judging by how things go.
I'll give you that. We made 1. How many episodes were in it?
8.
Close. 6. The Simpsons had the joke about it. Like we're going to do a marathon of Britain's longest running serial. All 6 episodes streaming will play tonight. Oh, Dr. Prepper got it. Yes, 6. That is our special. 1 season, 6 episodes. That'll do for you.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Patrick Batman. Apparently they're all on YouTube. Would you recommend? I mean, I might try it just out of curiosity, but we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, The Simpsons had us banged to rights. What can I say? I do find it genuinely weird that I'll pop on. I started rewatching Supernatural with Waifu. We sort of made it a bit of a Monday night ritual. Make some Italian, put on Supernatural, call it Super Pastoral, and you just realize that, oh gosh, 22 episodes, it takes you a while to get through. I think it might even be 24 in some seasons. It's a lot. Okay, we've got some approval. Patrick Batman is saying it is good for late 90s BBC. Okay, that is confirmed. I will check that out. You've had the good recommendations for this one. I think us wandering so far off into discussing whether Jack Davenport looks like Peter Hitchens might... we should possibly swing back onto Paperhouse. But I don't know. Did you have anything more to say? Because I sort of feel I've rounded it up, to be honest.
No, it's a good, solid fairy tale. It's a bittersweet ending. The coming of age story of a young girl. It's got its horror moments, but most of it's just a good old fashioned fairy tale.
Yeah. Big agree. It has your classic fairy tale levels of depth, told very well. You know, there's the nice thing struggling with the father. There's a nice thing, I thought, that the mother is also developing photos, sort of bringing something into the world, but sort of controlling how it comes out. I thought was quite... the fact that the way she'll develop the photos can change how it ends up gloomy or something was quite relevant to how Anna affects the drawing. I like that. But we don't have to delve deep into this. This is a film that, just like you said, Murgoot, based on a great fairy tale format, it's got a good level of depth, but it's not over complex. And it just feels like a bit of a gem, really.
Yeah, it's a diamond in the rough for me, but it's very well done. It's not my favorite, but it is well done, well put together, and I'm definitely going to have to look up the book that it was based off of, whether it's a book or a short story, see how that goes.
Yeah. Bonus for it being, kind of moral as well, to be honest. Good message as well. We like that.
I don't know. There's not much really to say with it because it is a simple film. There's some subtext, but it's a well-made, not in your face coming of age tale, facing up the horrors of adulthood or pre-adulthood, child's fears and learning to overcome them. But overall, I'm going to step it up to 8.5 stars. The pacing was really bad. And
Understandable. And chat, get your scores in here while we're at it. We'll move into closing off. So let's get the scores in. So sorry, Murgoot, you're saying 8.5 stars.
8.5 burgers. Yes.
Sorry, 8.5 burgers. Gosh, we went heretical there.
But it was fun.
Nice. If you were to look, I'm going to score it a fair bit higher than that. So I want to know what could maybe bring our what changes could it make to get maybe an extra burger and a half out of you?
Cut down the ending to 5 minutes and cut out a couple of the extraneous scenes in the beginning. Cut about 10 minutes there. Tighten everything up, and it would be much better.
Yeah, fair.
And I don't know, a lot of it is just because Anna didn't really appeal to me. She was too much of a brat. But it's a good solid 8.5, and I'll give it the 8.5 just because you've drawn me in a little bit more into it.
Excellent. I think I cut the Freud off at just the right point. Yeah. Well, chat is pretty online with you. We've got loads of 7s. We've got 2 7s. Adam has also thrown in a 7. Sorry, he's going for a 7, and we got a couple of 9s, so that's sort of averaging out at an 8. Dollface is joining in with a 7. And Eadwolf is not a Hans Zimmer appreciator. And I think Mr. Gently Benevolent standard burger ordered on Uber Eats. Edible but lukewarm. Okay, so I think chat is a little appreciating it, but maybe a little bit under. I mean, I think 7 is that. I'd recommend it, but I'm not going wild score. Yeah, for me, I actually go for a 10 on this one. I don't know if I'm being too enthusiastic, but I feel this is a 10. I took off a whole burger for the ending being so darn over long. It should have ended 14 minutes earlier. Oh gosh. I mean, that was some Return of the King level. Gosh, we keep going. I mean, I really thought she was going to fall off the cliff and we're just going to get that Terabithia ending, blooming heck. So that was a whole burger off.
If that happened, that may have actually increased my score. But that's just me.
Yeah. I also took off a half burger because I got so uncomfortable with them kissing for ages. I wanted it to maybe be just a slight bit more, just a little tamer, But that I'm not saying it wasn't like Larry Clark's Kids in 1994, where
oh god,
I haven't managed to rewatch that. I have no intention of rewatching it. The once was enough. It wants you uncomfortable, and it really achieves it.
Yeah, I didn't want to watch it. My roommates absolutely wanted to watch it, so I was stuck in the living room because I was working on a project at that time, and every time I'd look up, I'd have to look back down just because it was so god awful harrowing.
Yeah, folks, if that reference makes no sense, it's a film from 1994 about worries in sort of skater culture, and how the kids without any supervision are running wild, doing violence, doing the drugs, and getting dangerously insexed. And it starts with the most uncomfortable scene possible of an extremely young-looking girl macking out with a young-looking boy, and it goes on forever, and it's like nightmare ASMR. It is so loud, and it's actually stomach churning. It's really hard to watch. You feel like you're going on a list just for it's horrible. Anyway, it wasn't that bad, but it went on maybe like 4-5 seconds longer than it should have because I was getting kind of uncomfortable. So I took off half a burger for that, but otherwise, yeah, my score is coming out. Those two things alone got it down to like a 10 for me. Maybe it should be 9.5, but I feel 10 just because otherwise I really liked it. It was very nicely observed. And another weird thing was in their living room. In the bedroom, I noticed they actually had a very British bit of artwork. They had a cat by an artist called Mark Lehman, and that actually that was in my house growing up. So I was like, oh gosh, that was weird. Random thing. Adam Loves Horror has sent in $10. Thank you so much. Saying this is Adam. This is my last live stream. My new job has been working Thursdays. I want to thank you again for your channel and community you've created here. You're all great. I look forward to your next one. Thank you so much. I'm sorry you're not going to manage to be around on Thursdays again, but thank you so much. I hope you enjoy it on the replay. And you know, when I'm remembering to thank the people watching on replay, I hope you know that goes very much towards you. You've been very generous, and it's very much appreciated. So thank you so much, Adam. And I hope you still enjoy what we post. Always leave your comments, leave your scores. You know, I always appreciate that. And that goes to everyone else, actually. If you're on the rewatch now, leave your score. I'm always curious about what people know. You can always do that. Leave the burger score for the film we've discussed. Yes. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I go in at a 10. This really worked for me. I really enjoyed this. Odd vision, very British vision, but told really well. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it. But I think that is everything I had on this. It's a short episode, hopefully short but sweet. Mostly because I didn't talk about Vincent Price for an hour. Did I mention he opened an art gallery? I think
Yes.
Yeah. Oh. He also has a run-in with a Mr. George Sanders as well. For all the meme crossover, which may confuse some people, but trust me, that has Vincent Price in a scene with George Sanders has got some quite incredible mimetic power around these parts. Long before George Sanders started shilling Welsh salted butter and rugs. Anyway, right. Mr. Gently Benevolent, there is a story about the art gallery that is beyond euphemistic, but I will tell you about that next time. Oh, hello. Patrick Batman has dropped £5. Thank you so much. A YouTuber recommendation, Arkham Reporter. Does HP Lovecraft content, but with base takes. Hello. All right, I'm in.
I subscribe to him.
Oh, well, is that a double recommendation, Murgoot?
Yes. He's very good. He's a Swiss
Excellent.
YouTuber. He's very good.
Thank you. I'm into that. Yeah. You know, it's not the smoothest video. It is not the best video by far. But if you are interested, folks, you can look in my back catalogue, and you can find a video called H.P. Lovecraft and the Dissident Matrix, which is one of my very old takes, which you may find interesting. I wish I had had better editing skills when I made it, but alas. But I think you'll still appreciate the ideas if anyone has not seen that video. I'll just mention that. But thank you for the £5 and thank you for the recommendation. I am enjoying more HP Lovecraft content. And in fact, I'm going to pull that up now so I don't forget it. Where are we? Right. Once again, what's his name? Arkham Reporter. That's what I'm looking for. All right, I'm going to look for this one now. Live typing in the stream. So professional. So professional. Excellent. I've got him. Right. Well, folks, that is basically everything. Now, as I was saying, it's a little complex in February. I am very booked up for almost every Thursday, and I'm booked up for most of the Tuesdays. So I was going to try and do backup streams on Tuesdays, and I can't manage that. So it's going to be rather scattershot this month. The next time I can definitely do a stream is going to be on the 29th. We are going to aim to do another horror short session because that was really good fun. And I might sort of, if Fox comes back on for that, which hopefully he'll be available for, I will probably spring a whole bunch of quizzes on him. But, I'll give him the choice. Does he want Vincent or does he want quizzes? And whichever he goes for, I'm sure he will regret it. But hopefully we will be able to get off the go. If we cannot do that, then I think we'll probably do John Gorris's recommendation about the Lorelei, as I'll hopefully have the book. if I can get an extra stream in, there may be like a random weekend one, but I can't promise it. However, while it may be a little quieter in Feb, there's quite a lot going on, and maybe some bigger releases. And I will definitely be back in March. I really want to confirm things, but alas, I cannot. But we'll try. We'll try. So I will let you know things as they happen. For the moment, it's going to be a bit quiet around here. When I know for definite what the next stream is going to be, I will tell you. But it could be on the 29th. So a massive thanks to everyone for sticking around, for coming and watching this one, for giving, I thought this being a little known film, I didn't think many people would show for it. So I'm absolutely chuffed that you came to the stream. And I'm really chuffed that we got to give this a go, because this was an absolute gem. This was a real gem. I'm so pleased with it. But yeah, that is everything I have for this week. Patrick Matman is right. Yes, smash the likes. Do all the like smashing. All appreciated. And yes, there may be a little bit of a break, but we will return. Murgoot, thank you so much for coming on, as ever. Always appreciate it.
And thank you for having me.
No, absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Oh, and links to Murgoot's Twitter is, of course, in the description, so do check him out. Whole variety of content that you're going to see. So always interesting stuff, worth a follow. And chat, thank you so much for mocking my ASMR live typing. Yes. And thank you for being with me. It could be a while, but I'm looking forward to seeing you next time I stream. It feels weird because I'm not going into a stream next week. It's weird. Anyway, thanks, chat. I've had a good one. Thanks again, Murgoot. And with that, I think we are done. So I'll sign off as I always do. Thanks, y'all. Cheers.